Alright, guys, I don't know if they're still out there. I just got my first knock. But they were nice. They said I'm like fine to park here. They checked my ID. I mean my license. Anyway. Let me see if they're still there. Alright, it is now 7:12, almost 7:13, and I'm gonna get going. But this is what my front seat looked like. I threw my coat up there and I have a sweater. So this was all full of cars before. Okay, you hear this noise? The noise is back. Every time I go over a bump. And it's a mess back there. And I need to take a shower. It's been a while. So I'm gonna go pay $12 for a day pass at the Y, but that means I also get to sit in the steam room for a while. And last time their water wasn't very warm, but hopefully it will be today. It's early. And then I need to totally tidy up the car and deal with this pile of stuff. There's a couple things I think I'm gonna mail off, and like I still have the insert, that pillow that I'm used to put my sleeping bag. I still have this. I need to get rid of that. So yeah, just figure some stuff out. That's on the agenda today. But yeah, and tighten up the shelf so it's not making that noise. Every time I go over a bump. Of course, now the road is pretty smooth. Not complaining about that though. It's nice to have a smooth ride. Okay, so I will be honest. I do an official shower about once a week, and one of the places that I go is a Y. You can get a day pass. I don't have a Planet Fitness membership. I know a lot of people use those. I might look into getting it, but I found that I only need to wash my hair like once a week. I mean, it's due. But I could pull it back, and yeah, anyway. And that for the cost, there's rec centers, and sometimes Y has a free shower program. And that's where I was in Washington. There was a free shower program at their Y. And rec centers, recreational centers, sometimes do day passes for $3 or $5. Anyway, I don't know. I'm tired, guys. I'm tired. That knock on the door. I couldn't go back to sleep. All right, let's debrief a little bit about the knock on the car. So I woke up to a knock. I've never heard a knock on this car. And I was like, oh, and it didn't scare me. I thought I would feel really alarmed and like kind of like defensive, and it didn't. So that was kind of cool. I felt like a friendly knock, and they were actually pretty nice. And they said hi, and I heard as I was waking up, someone was like, don't you want to give her a little time? But, which was very considerate. So I don't know how they knew her, but maybe they ran my plates. I'm not sure. There's a knock on the car, and they said, hi, it's the police. They're just wanting to check on you. And they like shining the light, and that's when the guy was like, don't you want to give her a little time? So there is a part of the curtain right here, and he was shining the light in there. And that curtain sometimes comes open. So I did open the back door, and I said, hi, I'm just car camping, and I have work in the area for a little while, and I'll be moving on soon. And they're like, oh, you're fine here. We just wanted to check on you. And I was like, okay, I just wanted to be sure because I saw this was permit only, but only for certain hours, and you know, from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. It says permit parking, so I assumed that it was okay to park here after that. And he said, yeah, it is. You'll just need to leave in the morning. You're fine here. Now, I should have asked, can I come back? But I don't actually want to. Now I feel like I'm under their radar. And anyway, that was that. I'm exhausted because once that happened about 3:30 in the morning, and they were really nice. And that, oh, and then he said, can I see your license? And I showed him, and he called out the whiskey trot, all that. And that was it. And he said, all right, well, have a good night. And that was that. And I'd like to say I went back to sleep, but I couldn't. And it just got me thinking. And someone left a comment one time that, like, the police probably know who you are, but other people might not know you're living in your car. So now I'm thinking that that's probably pretty accurate. I've been in this same area for long enough that I think I have out-of-state plates, and so I think that might be, like, I'm on the radar of the cops just from driving around. And plus I do DoorDash, so I drive around a lot. I know I can stay at the farm, and I have a couple nights, so I might stay at the farm a little bit more for the rest of my few weeks here. Yeah, anyway, I'm just kind of debriefing. I'm tired though. And I wasn't scared. I want to kind of rein it in. Like, look at my passenger seat. I'd be suspicious too if I looked in the car at night with a flashlight. I think if somebody didn't have a flashlight and wasn't like patrolling an area, they wouldn't necessarily be alerted. But yeah, I just want to I've been getting a little too comfortable. That's what it is. So nothing crazy happened. I'm just too comfortable. Anyway, back to my day. I'm at the Y. I'm going in to take a shower and wash my hair. So I'm going to tighten up my stealth. I've noticed, well, that back window covering I showed in one of my videos. It's just all tattered. So as long as I park where, like, it doesn't matter that light gets through, but I think I'm getting a little too comfortable. So I got some things and like the fabric tape needs to be redone. So I have a few things I'm gonna kind of seal up and make a proper window covering for that window back there. I got some Reflectix, and I'll show how I make my window coverings, and I'll seal this up and just tighten up the areas. This is where I've done this already actually, but this is where the curtain meets with this. I had a hat hanging, and so a hole there would always be like a little gap there, and I just didn't worry too much about it. But I don't want to get another knock, and even if I don't get a knock, it just kind of makes me feel like that I'm not as stealth as I'd like to be. So I'm just trying to tighten that up. And I thought I would show how I do that with like the window cover and the fabric tape, because I've gotten a few questions about it. So that's what's next. The back two windows are exactly the same, so I'm just gonna pull out this one and use this as a template. But what I did for this is I took the Reflectix and I cut roughly the size with some overhang, and I just pushed it in here. And then when I pushed it, it made a crease around the edge, and I cut around that crease. And then I had the fleece overhang the Reflectix a little bit. So even though the Reflectix is pretty exact in size, the fabric hangs over a little bit, and I can use it to tuck in there. So I'm just going to pull this one out and use this as the template for the other side. So the Reflectix I got at Home Depot, and there's two kinds that I saw. There's like a shorter one that's a little wider, but I got the longer one, and this was $9.99. I'm only going to use it for that one window, and I'm going to fix up the back window as well, so I didn't need that much. I have scissors, the fleece. This is from Joann Fabrics, and I think I got I'm not sure, maybe a yard. It's really wide, but there'll be enough of that. And then also from the fabric store, I got a spray adhesive. This was more expensive. I want to say it was like $12, but it's probably much more than I'm gonna need. And I was using it from the dollar store. It's possible they'll have it there. So I'm just gonna cut this, and here's my template. So this is what it looks like with the fabric on that side and the fleece on the back. And you can see it's got the Reflectix inside. Let's see, or can you see? There. So I'm gonna cut the Reflectix out based off of this, and then I will spray the fleece on the back. Now I'm gonna test it out in the window. I did go ahead and cut around the edge, but I left about an inch. And let's see how this works. Actually, I'm gonna put the phone down and just put it in the window. Okay, it's in the window. You can see here, it's a little bit larger, but that's okay because that actually helps keep it in the window, at least of this kind of car. There's a little bit of a windowsill. And over here it's a little bit smaller, but that's one reason it's nice to have the fleece, because it kind of fills in the gaps there. And you can kind of push it in around the edge. And up at the top. So I've been using, I made one of these before I left Washington, but I left it in the woods. I was doing a car tour video and I took it out to show. So I've been using a piece of like black oak tag from the dollar store, and it worked pretty well, but it was starting to get ripped. This should be a lot more durable, and I can get some fabric to put on the outside, or I'm not sure. I'm thinking maybe a snow scene, but that's just for decorative purposes. So that's my window covers, how I do them. It insulates, and you can't tell from the other side because of the black fleece. I'll show that too. It just looks like a tinted window. Those have them, this one does not. And yeah. So the other area that needs improvement is up here. I've secured it with fabric tape, you can see, and it's beginning to lose its stickiness a little bit. So I bought more of that fabric tape and I'm just gonna seal that. And I think this is how they saw in. I keep my hat hanging here, but it pushes the curtain open. So I'm gonna find a new spot for my hat. And this is just a scarf, but I'm gonna seal that up with the fabric tape. So this is the fabric tape I got. It's different than the kind I used last time, but we'll see. It's just double-sided. The kind I got last time I think was like, it said something about instead of sewing, and this just says permanent mounting tape, and it can hold 3 pounds. But I'm gonna put a strip of this on the edge of the fabric along the top and then stick it on the ceiling where I want it to go. You can see it's sealed up. This is right along the top. This is where some light was getting through if this comes off. But it's right flush to the ceiling, and then it hangs in front of the pole so that when I put the curtain over, here's a hole. I'm gonna go back and put some of that and fix that there. But this way, when I put the curtain over, you can see that there's no light that comes through. And then from the other side, it just, this is, you know, it just looks, well, let me see if I can get some footage. From the other side, it's just flush. So no light will go through. It looks kind of like a theater curtain during the daylight, and I guess maybe if the cops were shining the flashlight, that's probably what they saw. But for just like random parking overnight somewhere, nobody's going to be looking that closely unless they're, you know, if they're just walking by. So this is where they were shining the light through here. And I think if I don't keep my hat hung there, but I'm also going to put a square to kind of seal this up. Down on the bottom. See, it was like this. And I think that's, although the lights weren't on, I was asleep. I'm not sure, but I know that I want to seal up all the holes. So I'm going to put a square of this fabric tape here. You know, I can put a pillow. Again, if somebody's trying to see what's going on in the car, I'm sure they can do that. But for just not drawing a lot of attention and having the light, this works fine. So those are my stealth upgrades. There's the little detail work that, oh, see, you can see the tape. I gotta, it's the edge of the tape hangs over. That's okay. It won't show the light. It's just the edge of the tape. That tape is white, that mounting tape. but no light will shine through. Anyway, those are my stealth upgrades. What I've realized is that it's kind of an ongoing thing to make sure that no light is getting out, and especially in the winter, that it gets dark at like 4:30, and yeah, it's just more important, I think, for me to maintain that, and also just not be so comfortable. That was a new area that I parked, and I kind of knew I shouldn't because it had that sign that said permit parking. And I've never parked on a campus overnight before, so I thought, actually I did one other time in like student parking in another area and it was fine, but this was kind of a more patrolled area, and I could tell because it had lights and it had like a building that said something like transportation headquarters. I'm not sure, but I should have known better. But hopefully, you know, it was an opportunity to kind of like reel in my stealth projects, get a little more stealthy, and you know, it's always something you think about, but now that I've been through that, you know, it was a good experience. It was a learning, and I hope that it can somehow be helpful to anybody out there who's gotten a knock or hasn't gotten a knock or is just wondering what can happen. So yeah, could you hit the thumbs up button if you did enjoy this, just so I can know and get the feedback, and welcome to the new subscribers. Thanks for joining in the channel, and yeah, feel free to subscribe if you want to know more about my journey. There's kind of a lot going on these days, and I think I'll fill in the channel at some point, but just thanks for being part of my journey. I get a lot of support from the comments and the feedback, and you know, just best wishes to everybody out there, and I really appreciate all you guys. I really I really appreciate you guys. So yeah, I have some cool decor back there too that's new, but I don't want to show it yet because that's going to be in a separate video. And so I don't know, maybe a sneak peek. There's something little set up there, but I'm not going to show it yet. But yeah, I have something set up. I took it down when I was putting in the window covering, but that's exciting. And I think the next video will be about what's back there. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well, and I'll see you on the next one. And feel free to comment any suggestions about stealth, or if you've ever gotten a knock, or if you have any advice around that, because it definitely threw me for a little bit of a loop. But it was a learning experience and an opportunity to kind of like rein things in. And yeah, okay, that's it. See you on the next one. Bye.